Boker Tov, everyone, and Gemar Chatima Tova. We are so glad that you are with us. We hope you enjoyed and found meaning in last night's service, although with a few glitches here and there due to lightning. But so far, it's just raining, and we are happy to see you and happy that it is light out today. So we are going to start off with Matovu. Pianist Lynn, thank you so much. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Mode Ani on page 138 in the Machzor if you are following in the Machzor.
Open my eyes, it's a brand new day. Modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha. Light in my life, embrace the sun's rays. Modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha. Let creation fill my body, shechazarta. Binishmati, a new day, a fresh start. Feel the beat in my heart, my soul. You return to me. I thank you for letting me live another day. I thank you for giving me the chance to pray. Modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha. Torah, 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 Torah. I thank you for letting me live another day. I thank you for giving me the chance to pray. Modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha. Torah, 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 Torah. The world is created every day. I am created every morning. Toda. Boker Tov.
Thank you, Cantor Bryce, for really a wonderful beginning to this Yom Kippur with your spirit and your energy. Todah to you and your beautiful voice as well. Today we will work our way through the service for some of the traditional melodies that you are familiar with for the holidays. You'll also hear the special melodies, Untitled Chapter, the Kiddushah, the Shema Kolenu, the voices that we hear in our hearts and our spirits. And so we'll also weave through this morning's service the theme, which is, what is success? How does Judaism really define what success is in our lives? And so with that, we start with this. Judaism starts with the premise that every human being is created in the image of God. With such a lofty starting point, self-respect is therefore every human's birthright. Therefore, many mitzvot in Judaism guide us how to treat other people. These are based on the recognition that each person has inherent dignity and self-worth, regardless of whether or not she or he has accomplished anything of significance. In the end, then, we are to understand success not as what we have, but instead by who we are. Not by the way we acquire, but by the way we treat others. And so we begin our prayers by not recognizing the physical things we have in our lives, but instead we begin this morning by recognizing the blessings that we have in our lives. Judaism teaches that to be blessed is to be successful.
Clockmaker, I was looking for you, builder of the machine. You lost interest, I guess, and walked away, but I was looking for signs of you.
I saw accidents, mutations, disasters unpredicted and unexplained. Pretty sloppy work, if you ask me. Hey, Clockmaker, praise be your name and the names of your mechanics.
Who is like you among the silent, mute and inscrutable? You witness our pain. Once upon a time a sea was split, and Israel marveled at your outstretched arm. How many have cried out since then? How many have sunk beneath the waves? Centuries of innocent blood, lives lost to hunger, to war, to cruelty or indifference, and those who died with your name on their lips. And still they perish in distant lands, and still they languish on our chilly streets. Your creatures are drowning even now, so why should we sing? Ever silent, hiding out in history. You have your reasons, or so they say. You left us on our own, so let us give you leave. Withdraw into yourself, withhold your saving power. And we will live on memories of joy, and stubborn and stiff-necked will still cling to hope, and gather strength to fight the pharaohs when we must, and hold fast to freedom, and celebrate in song, and vow that we will never, ever, never be among the silent.
שתי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ויבוא. זוכרנו לחיים, מלחפש בחיים, בכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר זרים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך מימית ומחייב, ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אהוב הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו, חיים ברחמים, ונאמן אתה לך חיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
We learn in the Talmud, according to the effort is the reward. In Judaism, it is the struggle, not necessarily the achievement of a goal, that matters. Because the final outcome may rest beyond our powers. A person can thus succeed by winning a moral struggle, even if there are no tangible results. Though effort is difficult to quantify, in our materialistic world, we tend to disregard its value. You are watching two people compete in a 100-meter dash. One runs a world record time of 9.3 seconds. The other crosses the finish line in 30 seconds. Who attains success? The record breaker, of course, except that the one who clocked 30 seconds had developed polio as a child, was unable to walk until he was 14 years old, and had invested years of painful, grueling exercise until he was finally able to even run the distance. Who was successful? Judaism recognizes, you see, that real success comes not necessarily in the end point, but in the grappling and wrestling that we are sometimes forced to do in our lives. This is precisely why the following prayers we will recite are so disturbing, so difficult, and so challenging. Who will live and who will die?
Gadol ve'it Kadosh Shemei Rabbah Ve'alma divarach irutei ve'yamlich malchutei b'chayeichon u'b'yomeichon u'b'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'gala u'b'zmon kariv ve'imeru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'olamei armayo yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal Shemei dekudesha b'richu Leila, Leila, mikol birshchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran v'yalma, v'yimeru, Amen.
Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires the highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love, your reign is a reign of truth. In truth you are judge and plaintiff, counsel and witness, you inscribe and seal, you recount and record. You remember all that we have forgotten, and when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself, for every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other.
ונתנה תוקף קדושת היום, כי הוא נורא ואיום, ובו תינשא מלכותך, וייכון בחסד כיסאך, ותשב עליו באמת. אמת, כי אתה הוא דיין ומוכיח ויודע ועד, וחותם וסופר ומונה, ותזכור כל הנשכחות, ותפתח את ספר הזיכרונות, ותפתח את ספר הזיכרונות, ומאליו יקרא וחותם יד כל אדם בו. ובשופר גדול ייתקע וכל דממות דקה יישמע מלאכים יחבזון, בחילול עדה יאחזון, ויאמרו הנה יום הדין, לפני כל הצבא מרום בדין בדין, כי לא יזכו בעיניך בדין בדין, כי בקרת רועד את רועד מה ברצונו תחת שבטו. כן תעביר ותסבול ותמנה ותפקוד נפש כל חי, ותחתוך יצבע לך בריאה ותכתוב את גזר דינם.
An empty page, an open book, a day of ultimate questions. Will I still be here next year at this time with the ones I love beside me? What is in store for my family, and what will become of my friends? Who will have a reason to celebrate? Who will contend with grief? New love, new babies, marriages deepening or breaking apart, prosperity, struggle, reversals of fortune, illness, and health await us. Who will be missing when we gather next? Who will stand apart? Who will be estranged? And who will have joined us, enriching our community? On the edge of the unknown we tremble. What lies ahead for all of us? An empty page, an open book, nothing is written and nothing is sealed. Flesh and blood, frail creatures, our lives are fleeting and subject to chance. Yet this we possess, the strength to persist, to prevail, to comfort one another in the dark. Prayer, right action, a turning toward the good. These give us hope and help us bear the pain of life.
בראש השנה ייכתבון, ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון, ייכתבון, בראש השנה ייכתבון, ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון, ייכתבון, כמה יעבורון וכמה ימראון, מי יחיה ומי ימות, מי וקיצו ומי לא וקיצו, בראש השנה ייכתבון,
But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of this decree. The holy way, a kavanah before Kiddush Hashem, of sanctifying God's name. The Spirit is not holy, nor ideals, intention, or will. To love God in the heart, to carry a spiritual thought, this is not the holy way. Holiness resides in deeds alone. Only these are our task in this world. But to act without thought is empty, a mechanical rife without soul. Consciousness and action, matter and spirit, all unite in a mitzvah mindfully performed. We change the world not through our dreams, but through the way we consume, do our work, make Shabbat, and give to one another. Were we angels, pure, disembodied souls, we would not need the discipline of deeds. Were we animals, pure instinct and drive, we cannot rise to touch the sacred, to join body and mind, to live our ideals, to serve in the fullness of our humanity. This is the challenge of holy living.
מקדש את שמך העולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה זה ויאמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אלוהינו, מדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישביענו. ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם. קדוש, 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 לדור ודור, לדור ודור. הללויה, הללויה,
There is a sense in Jewish tradition that to have success in life means to have peace of mind. We are taught that success is peace of mind, and which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best you are capable of becoming. We are each created with certain potentials and certain gifts which are planted inside of us. Success is therefore all about whether we work and strive to live up to that potential and to develop and bring to fruition those gifts we have been given. We continue our prayer for peace, focusing on the peace of mind. Sim shalom, O God, place peace upon us, upon the world, and upon Israel. And we connect our success with the peace of mind that we know we did our best. We all strive for being inspired to live up to our potential and to share those gifts with the world. This is to have peace of mind. Sim shalom, peace of mind.
A favorite CRJ High Holiday memory for me, aside from watching my girls sing on the bima as part of the youth choir, would be attending the Nila service, which is concluded by the most beautiful Havdalah service that leaves me spiritually ready for the rest of the year.
The high holidays are important to me because they help me find inspiration to make a fresh start in the new year.
My memory is sitting with my friends and singing Ma Tovu.
And the importance of the holiday to me is simply being with my CRJ community.
Hi, we're the Bloom family. Our favorite part of the High Holy Days is getting to celebrate together as a family and getting to come together as part of one Jewish community. Shana Tova.
Nashana Tova.
לברך את עמך רוחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon v'Fesha v'Chata'a v'Nakei. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon v'Fesha v'Chata'a v'Nakei. Yivarechecha
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem ra'oshechem shivtechem ziknechem v'shotrechem kol ish Yisrael tapchem nishechem v'gercha asher bekerev machanecha mechotev etzecha ad shoev memeyecha le'avracha bivrit Adonai Elohecha uvalato asher Adonai Elohecha koret imcha hayom lima'an hakim otcha hayom lo le'am v'hu yiyelach le'elohim ka'asher diber lach v'ka'asher nishba la'avotecha la'avraham liyitzchak u'yaakov v'lo etchem livadachem Anochi koret et habrit hazot ve'et ha'alah hazot ki et asher yeshno po imanu omed hayom lifnei Adonai Eloheinu ve'et asher einenu po imanu hayom.
Ki ha-mitzvah hazot asher anochi mitzavcha hayom lo nifleit hi mimcha velo rekocha hi lo vashamayim hi lemor mi yalelanu hashamayma vayikacheha lanu v'yashmienu otah v'nasena v'lo me'ever layam hi lemor mi yavor lanu elever hayam vayikacheha lanu v'yashmienu otah v'nasena ki karov elecha hadavar me'od beficha uvilvavcha la'asoto. Re'e natati lefanecha hayom et ha'hayim ve'et ha'tov ve'et ha'mavet ve'et ha'ra asher anochi mitzavcha hayom lahava et Adonai Elohecha lalechet bidrachav ulishmor mitzvotav v'chukotav umishpatav v'chayita v'ravita uverachacha Adonai Elohecha ba'aretz asher ata v'shama l'rishta ve'im yifne levavcha v'lo tishma v'nidachta v'hishtachavita le'elohim acherim va'avatam. Higati lachem hayom ki avot tovedun lo ta'arichun yamim al ha'adamar asher ata over et hayarden lavo shama l'rishta ha'idoti vachem hayom et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz ha'chayim ve'hamavet natati lefanecha habaracha v'hakalala uvacharta b'chayim lema'an tihyeh ata v'zarecha la'ahava et Adonai Elohecha lishmoa bekolo uldavkavo ki hu chayecha ve'orech yamecha lashevet al hadamar asher nishba Adonai la'avotecha la'avraham litzchak u'Yaakov latet lahem.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natan betochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Success is something that you have to define for yourself, and no one can do it for you in the end. Success could mean a sense of giving back to the world and making a difference. It could mean a sense of accomplishment and career progression. It could mean being able to do the things you love. It can mean being able to provide the best possible upbringing for your children. We all might define success differently, and that's okay. So too, we have to reach deep inside of ourselves and define for ourselves those wrongs that we have committed, to which we today confess. We continue now with those prayers that lead us to confession. As we determine for ourselves the wrongs that we have committed, no one else can do it. And we also commit for ourselves to change those wrongs into blessings. And no one else can do that for us as well. If we can do the tshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah that are required of us today, perhaps we will lead ourselves to a sense of success. Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu,
Dibarnu Dofi,
Ay la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Hevinu, Vehir Shanu, Zadnu, Chamasnu,
Tafanu Shaker,
Ay la 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 la. La 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 la. Yatsnura, Kizanu, Latsnu, Maradnu, Niasnu, Saradnu, Avinu, Pashanu, Zararnu,
Kishinu Oref,
La 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 la, la 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 la. Rashanu, Shichatnu, Tiavnu, Taniu, Titanu, As we now reach in our confession, our vidui are long, what's called the long confession, for the sins that we commit also as a community, as we commit as a society as well. Al chatet shechatanu lifanecha, for the sins, O God, which we have committed against you as a society, as a people.
Al chet shechatanu lefanecha be'ones uvaratzon, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'yodim u'v'lo yodim, al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'vli da'at, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'ritzat raglaim lehara, al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chozek yad, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'zilzul horim u'morim, al chet shechatanu lefanecha beyetzer hara, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha bekashyut oref, al chet shechatanu lefanecha bechachashu vechazav, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בקלות ראש, על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בשיח שפיתותינו, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בצרות עין. For all these things, for all failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. Ve'al kulam Eloha selichot, selach lanu mechalanu kaper lanu. Ve'al kulam Eloha selichot, selach lanu mechalanu, selach lanu mechalanu kaper lanu. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'galui u'v'sater, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'sinat chinam. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'frikat ol, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'ma'achal v'mishteh. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'gilui harayot, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'imutz halev. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'neshech u'v'marbit, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'masa u'b'matan. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'hirhur halev, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chilut. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chapat shochad, ve'al chet shechatanu lefanecha b'chilul Hashem. For all these failures of judgment and will, God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. Ve'al kulam Eloha selichot, selach lanu mechalanu kaper lanu. Ve'al kulam Eloha selichot, selach lanu mechalanu, selach lanu mechalanu kaper lanu.
We have our short confession through the Ashamnu, and then we have our long confession through the Al-Chet. And the final part of our Vidui is the Shema Kolenu. Because unless God hears our prayers, unless we do them with full sincerity, unless the prayers enter our souls and our hearts, then our confession goes nowhere. Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu. Hear our call, Adonai our God. Show us compassion. Accept our prayers with love and goodwill.
Shema Kolenu Adonai Eloheinu.
I realize that each of us comes to these high holy days with his or her own prayer, aside from those that we find in our prayer books. After all, we all live different lives, we all have different needs, we all have different concerns. Perhaps it is a prayer for life and health for us and our families. Possibly it is that we be safe from all the pain and unpredictable ravages of the world. Maybe it's that each of us is to usher in a new year filled with blessing and hope. Perchance a prayer for peace in our own homes, in our country, peace in Israel or peace in the world. Also, given current conditions, maybe a prayer for no hurricanes, no wildfires, and a wish not to get COVID. And if we put into words all what we wish for, in Jewish tradition, we would say, Good Yontif, a prayer for success. That is a prosperous year. There is a definition of success which American culture has put forth, which I think is a particularly destructive one. American society says that to be successful means to be attractive and productive. In other words, success means looking good and making money. For women, it's the attractive part. Society pushes the idea that a woman is to be looked at as other people evaluate her appearance. Success means being attractive enough to find the right kind of husband who will then take care of you. You don't win a beauty contest by writing a poem, earning a PhD, or helping a lot of people. You do so by the shameful sin of objectifying a woman. Would it shock you, as it has shocked me over the years, to learn how many of our female children, teenagers, suffer from some sort of psychological eating disorder, anorexia, not eating to the point of starvation or bulimia, throwing up in order to lose weight because they want to look like what society says that they should look like? This too is a sin. And our society isn't much kinder to men either. For men, we define success in winning, coming out ahead in others, in competition for fame and fortune, and sometimes doing whatever it takes to get there. In this case, the shameful sins of measuring a person solely by their power and their money. And as hard as this narrow definition of success is on teens and young people, on middle-aged men and women, it is perhaps the hardest of all on older adults. America, after all, respects people who make money, and you're not doing that anymore if you're an older adult. America admires people with firm skin and supple figures and bright and perky faces, and that's no longer what you do best as an older adult. No wonder that some in American society project the message that old age is a problem, and we should feel sorry for people afflicted by this disease of old age. And society also finds this as a problem and finds ways to isolate older adults from the rest of us. A shameful, pitiful situation, a sin. And why do we tolerate all this? Why do we put up with a system that either ignores or insults us, that is constantly telling us we are not good enough, that we are failures? We're too old or too young, too ordinary looking or too unambitious to be successful. Shouldn't there be another definition of success that we can live with and feel better about? Instead of the American definition of where being successful means being attractive and productive, the Jewish definition of success has to do with things that are very different. It has to do with two things. Judaism defines success in two ways. Success has to do first with being wise, and second with being good. Success is being good and being wise according to Jewish teachings. So what does it mean, according to Judaism, to be wise? It's more than being smart or having a high IQ or knowing a lot of facts. A teacher of mine once defined the difference by saying that a clever person knows how to get out of a situation that a wise one would never have gotten into in the first place. Wisdom means understanding how things work, what is worth doing, and what the likely consequences of your actions will be. Wisdom means be able to rise above passion and instinct and see your own actions without defensiveness. Wisdom also does not come automatically always with age. There is no shortage of foolish, selfish, older people. But it tends to be tied to life experience, however, needless to say. To have been around long enough, learn from your mistakes and other people's, and having had the fires of youth banked enough so that you're not distracted by their glare. Listen to what a midrash has to say about success. In biblical times, the Kohen, the priest, performed all of the sacrifices and carried out the rituals, while the Levites did a lot of behind-the-scenes work, a lot of physical labor. The Torah requires that Levites retire from their work at the age of 50. Wouldn't that be nice? We all retire. If you're a Levite, according to Jewish tradition, you could officially retire at the age of 50. But the rabbis were uncomfortable after the Torah, with the Torah implying that a Levite has nothing to contribute after he reached the age of 50. How is it possible that a person with 30 years of experience should have to sit around and do nothing useful? So the rabbis redefined the law in the Torah to mean that the Levi is excused from only physical labor, but he remains a kind of elder statesman, teaching the younger Levites how to carry on their duties properly, how to live in the midst of all this holiness without either becoming so blasé about it that it becomes just another job, or else becoming so arrogant about it that they lose touch with the outside world. The older Levites would make their wisdom and experience available to the younger ones. You see, when they could no longer serve the community with their physical strength, the older Levites would serve with their life experience, with their understanding of life born of their own mistakes and their own successes. They would serve with their wisdom. Wisdom. Understanding how things work. Wisdom. What is worth doing. Wisdom. What the likely consequences of your actions will be. Wisdom means being able to rise above passion and instinct and see your own actions without defensiveness. And so the second part, success, means being good. But what does being good mean? In Judaism, it means making room for people in your life. In our tradition, the opposite of goodness is selfishness. Being so wrapped in your own life that you never notice that there are other people in the world. The person who lives only for himself, no matter how well he does it, is a failure according to Judaism. The person who lives only in a little silo, isolated from themselves and caring for no one else, is a failure. Judaism defines success as growing beyond the confines of the self and letting other people into your life. The person who uses other people to advance his own ends is a failure in Judaism's eyes. But by contrast, the person who tries to be helpful, charitable, caring, that person's life is a success story. If she never goes to the point where she is good at things, even if she can't afford to be as charitable as she would like, and she feels awkward and inept that she tries to help, she still is success in Judaism's eyes because she made the effort. For me, the ultimate proof of goodness is the reality of God in the world. It is the reality that we are constantly seeing ordinary people doing extraordinary things. This is being good. This may well be a definition for goodness and thus for success. Goodness may be the ability to see ordinary, godly things in ordinary life. I've seen it I've seen good in this congregation. I've seen members of this congregation cope with sickness, with loss, with rejection, showing a resiliency and strength that I never would have believed they had, and they would have never believed they had. There are those of you that are listening today who, if someone asked you 1 year ago, 5 years ago, this is what is going to happen to you in your life over the next 5 years, can you handle it? You would have answered no. Please don't ask it of me. I know my limits. But the thing happened, and you survived. Not only did you survive, you thrived by this. You became a better person because of the experience. Somehow you found within yourself qualities of the soul you didn't know you had. Qualities you didn't know you have until the day that you needed it. This is goodness. If you are kind despite the collapse of your business, that is a success. If you apologize for hurting someone, that is a success. If you rise from your prayer a different person than the one you began praying to, this too is success. The accumulation of small moments of connection, of goodness, wisdom, and love are together a triumph, no matter the external measures that may at times derail or dismay you. If we spend these hours of Yom Kippur praying for one more whatever, if we spend these moments praying that one day we will wake up rich and famous, if we pray for something in our lives that we need and want, if we pray that one day we'll look in the mirror and we'll become more attractive because we think that those are the elements of success. If we look in the mirror and say, oh my goodness, you're old. But if we look in the mirror and say, you are a person, a human being that has something to offer, then you are a success. Then you will not have squandered these precious prayerful moments that only come once a year to make yourself better, to be good in the year ahead. So too, if this congregation is considered successful only because we have the most beautiful building, or the biggest budget of any congregation, or the greatest number of members, then we might as well close our doors, because that is not the measure of a successful congregation. This year, let's look at success a little differently. Let's reach for a definition of success that young people can begin to have and old people won't feel slipping away from them. Let's live by a success which we can achieve without having others have to lose for us to win. Let us find a definition of success for CRJ we are proud of because of the overwhelming wisdom and goodness that we find within these walls. Do all of this, and then each of us will be able to truly say to one another, Good Yontif, a successful new year. I'll end with a story. It's a story of Jaime, who is desperate for success in his business. He went to the synagogue and prayed devoutly, God, if you only help me somehow, I'll give you 10% of everything I make. Nothing happened. The next day, Jaime prayed, God, I'll give you 25% if you help me. Still nothing. The next day, God, I'll make you 50-50 partner if you just help me out a little. Just then, his wife came running into the synagogue. Guess what, Jaime? We won $5 million in the lottery. Jaime turned to the heavens and said, oh, don't worry about it, God. It's okay. I'm taken care of. I got the money in some other place. We have to be good. And I say to you, good Yontif to a successful new year. Kei Nihi Ratzon, may it be God's will, and it be our challenge. Amen. And now we're going to take an opportunity after the sermon in a moment to have a discussion about some of the things I said. To have, if you want to stay on as a member of CRJ, you may go to the website and go to crjorlando.org. We'll give you a few moments to get on to Zoom. I hope you'll go on and maybe give us, we'll talk about the sermon, but if you want to talk about the holidays and you want to schmooze a little bit, that's always good for us too. I'm going to be here, and the Cantor might show up too. We never know. She'll be here too, but please join us as we now move to Zoom. Again, go to the website, crjorlando.org. Click on the thing that says Join Rabbi's Sermon Discussion, and I'll look forward to seeing everyone in one moment. Good Yontif.